Did you know that trout season opened last weekend? I'm not a real fisherman. Every once in a while I get the itch to dust off the tackle box and go out, but I've always admired fishermen and fisherwomen because they're such hopeful people. They set out, today's the day, gonna land the big one. And even when they're out there fishing, whether it's at a lake or out on a boat in the bay, they're thinking, this is gonna be a good day, I can feel it. And if they fish for a while and they're not catching anything, then they might try another spot, ever so hopeful. But then if it's one of those days where they're just not biting, they inevitably come to the conclusion that they're not biting and it's time to just pack it up and give it up. And I find that sometimes the journey in life works the same way. You're trying to make a relationship work, and you're trying and you're trying and you're hopeful, trying different things. Or you're struggling with a long-term illness and you're just hoping you go from doctor to doctor that you'll find the doctor that is able to help you or has the medicine that can make a difference. Or you want to go back to school to improve your life and you're trying to do school and family and you just want to give up because it doesn't seem to be working. Well, I want you to know that the message of Easter is try again. Try again. That's the message that Peter, one of Jesus' disciples, heard when he was fishing. In fact, he heard the message twice. There's two fishing stories that sort of sandwich the account of the resurrection. The first one is found in Luke's Gospel, chapter 5, where Jesus is speaking to a group of people, and he's kind of using Peter's boat, because Peter was a fisherman, that's what he did for a living. He's using Peter's boat sort of as his pulpit. And so he's speaking to people, and then it says in verse 4, when he had finished speaking, he said to Simon Peter, put out into deep water and let down the nets for a catch. And Simon Peter answered, Master, we've worked hard all night and haven't caught anything. But because you say so, I will let down the nets. And when they had done so, they caught such a large number of fish that their nets began to break. So they signaled their partners in the other boat to come and help them, and they came and filled both boats so full they began to sink. And that's when Peter fell before Jesus and said, oh boy, I'm in the presence of greatness. And he said, I don't even deserve to be in your presence. Jesus said, well, I am going to change your life. No longer are you going to fish for fish, but you're going to fish for people. You're going to work for me and for my kingdom. He wasn't catching anything until Jesus got in his boat and said, try again. This time try where I tell you. Go deeper. Go further. Caught all the fish that they could hold and more. Peter gets the same message again later. It's about 2 years later, chronologically, in John's Gospel, around the time of the resurrection. That first Easter day, John's account says the women went to the tomb to anoint the body with spices, and when they got there, the stone was rolled away, and the body was missing. They thought somebody took the body. They later found out that Jesus had been raised, just as he said, but it was all so confusing because everything in their mind and in their experience said that when people die, they go in the ground when they're buried and they don't come back out. So they were confused, but their heart wanted to believe. Jesus appeared to them in his risen form, but still they weren't quite sure, some of those disciples, what was really going on. When you feel some anxiety, when you feel maybe a little lost or confused, do you go to what brings comfort? Whether it's pizza Or your favorite movie? When you need something that says, it's going to be okay? That's what Peter did. It says in the next chapter, chapter 21, that verse 3, Peter says, I'm going to go out and fish. And some of the other guys said, we'll go with you. So they went out and got into the boat, but that night they caught nothing. Peter seems to be saying, I don't know what else to do. This is crazy what's going on here. So he was a fisherman. That's what he knows is fishing. Of course, back then they didn't use a rod and reel. They used nets. So he says, I'm going fishing because that's my comfort zone. That's what I know. And the others were ready to join him. And so they go out fishing, but they caught nothing. Then it says in verse 4, early in the morning, Jesus stood on the shore, but the disciples did not realize that it was Jesus. He's in his risen form. He calls out to them, friends, haven't you any fish? No, they answered. Sometimes when I take a walk in a park, like near a pond or a lake, I'll see somebody fishing. And I don't know, it just kind of comes out before I realize it. It's just a logical question when you walk by them. What do you think I ask? Catching anything? I think fishermen probably hate that. They probably hate that if they're not catching anything. Because now I've forced them into true confessions. I've asked the direct question, and now they have to admit that as a fisher person, they're a failure. Not biting, I didn't catch anything. But I guess if it's been a good morning or evening, and they've caught several fish, then it's a chance to brag. Catch anything? Oh yeah, I caught 3. They were huge. As Donald Trump would say, huge. So what Jesus asks is kind of a common question. He's standing kind of on the beach. They're out in the boat a little distance. They don't recognize him. It's like a stranger asking them, catch anything? No, they answered. So here he goes again. Verse 6, he said, throw your net on the right side of the boat and you'll find some. When they did, they were unable to haul the net in because of the large number of fish. Wouldn't you like to have Jesus in your boat? If you're going fishing for fish, or if you're fishing for something else. And I wonder what you are fishing for today on Easter Day. What are you working on? What are you looking for? What are you hoping for? What are you fishing for? Have you reached the point of wanting to just drop your nets and say, forget this? Jesus says, try again. Try it my way. Invite me into your boat. Listen to my directions. People that go out in a boat and fish have something sometimes they use called a fish. Is it called a fish finder? You fishermen? What's it like, sonar that goes down under the water and tells you where the fish are? Well, that's great, but that doesn't mean they're going to bite on your bait, right? But at least you get a head start. It's kind of like cheating fishing, I think. I don't know. Oh, here they are. There's a whole school of fish. Stop the boat. Drop your line. Jesus was the best fish finder ever. Right? 2 stories. It tells he knew right where the fish were. And he knows right where it is that you need to be and where you need to look. And he knows right what it is that you're fishing for. And he also knows that he's the answer. Jesus is the way, he's the truth, and he's the life. And you're not going to catch anything worthwhile in your search and your fishing trip in life unless he's in your boat. Because he knows what you need. You can call it different things. You can look in different directions. But the bottom line is, you and I need to know that we're okay. That we are forgiven for the bad things we've done in life. We need to know that there's a chance that we're going to make it. Not only in this life, but the hope of life after this life. Because you may feel that some things have happened in this life that have gone so wrong they can never be fixed. The good news of Easter is Jesus is in the business of fixing people and healing people and bringing hope and life, because he can direct us to exactly where we need to go to find it. Well, those disciples came in on land that morning after the resurrection, and Jesus had breakfast for them. And he sat with Peter, the poor misguided fisherman. Just couldn't get it right, fishing in the wrong places. And then Jesus confronted him by saying, "Do you love me?" 3 times he asks him. And I picture Peter kind of looking down, and he's sort of like, yeah, you know I do. And Jesus says again, "Then serve me. Go and feed my lambs and feed my sheep. Because I want to transform your life. And I want to take fishing to another level in your life. Not fishing for fish, but I want you to serve me. And I'll show you a much more fulfilling way, a much more dynamic way." Peter finally got it and became a faithful apostle, meaning one who goes out and tells others about God's great love. Jesus knows where to find the fish. You know, this time of year, our kids often get involved with egg hunts, right? Some of you might have your own family egg hunt. My family used to do that years ago. There were a number of little kids in the family, and so we have our own egg hunt. But churches have them sometimes, townships have them. And well, I just want to take a minute to share with you what an egg hunt is like from a father's perspective. Because I'm a dad, I have 3 kids, they're pretty much grown now, but this is how it works. You have an egg hunt, and so you go and you make sure your kid is armed and ready with a big basket or a bag. And dads, I can say this because I'm speaking as a dad, I think many of us, maybe not all of us, are pretty competitive, you know? So as the kids are lining up, we're kind of eyeing up the competition. I think you can take him. Yeah, just go around there. So they all line up, they've got their bags or their baskets, and then, you know, it's kind of like the ready, get, set, go thing, right? And then there's a scramble. Kids are running around, they're looking for eggs. Now you have the easy eggs, right? They're just out in the grass. It's a park or a field, wherever you're having this event, you know. And so those get scooped up first. And sometimes Johnny might fill his basket and he doesn't see anything else around, so he's ready to quit. And he starts walking back. But Dad is on the sidelines. "Johnny, no, behind the tree. Over there. No, the other tree. Over there." There's more. Because Dad has been looking and casing the joint, and he kind of knows where the secret eggs are. And so Johnny scrambles back and gets some more. But Johnny can only do that because his father knows where the eggs are. And I like to think that our Father knows where life's successes and fruitfulness will be for us. He knows it all. He has all knowledge, he has all wisdom, he has all power. Resurrection power. And we may be fishing for a relationship that works. We might be fishing for healing. We might be fishing for hope, for direction. And our Father knows where it can come from. And only our Father can provide it if we're willing to trust him, if we're willing to say, "Lord, will you get in my boat? I've been fishing all night. I've been fishing for years, and I haven't caught a thing." And he comes in our boat and says, "Try over here. Try it my way. And see what happens when you let go of yourself and grab hold of me." That's what Easter can mean for all of us. The resurrection power is available to every one of us because Jesus is alive. And he can never die again. He already died. So he'll never die again. And he did all that so that he can live in you and me and help us in that fishing trip that we call life and help us find just what we're looking for. And even when our hour is darkest and we feel like dropping our nets and giving up, if we listen, we may just hear him say, "Try again." Father, sometimes the nights are long and the journey is hard, and we work and we try and we're ready to give up. But then you remind us that you're all about blessing your people, the people that you love, the people that you died for. Oh Lord, if we've been looking in the wrong direction and fishing in the wrong spots, if we've thought that the egg hunt is over and we're ready to quit, come and speak to us in a way that will be unmistakable, so that as we trust you and really look to you and lean on you, we might find what it is that we've been searching for. All this we pray by faith in the name of the resurrected one, Jesus. Amen.